Oh my gosh. Good morning. Happy hump day. Um, so good morning to new people, people who've been following me for a while. Um, it's Debbie Maisha coming at you live. Um, so today eventually I may have an agenda for what I come on and talk about. I don't know if that's my way or not, but we'll find out. And honestly, I'm trying to see if I can turn my live streams into my podcast, which I can, but it requires me to have a little bit more of a format so that I don't have to do so much chopping up. I'm just not there yet. Um, so I want to talk about my experience last night in a clubhouse room, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. For all my melanated folk who are out here wondering, you know, are we doing the work? Are we doing the healing? Are the men doing the healing? We are. We are. We have really made social media the gateway into life. And so we assume if we're not seeing it on social media, it's not happening. Like we think if we don't see someone posting about their journey, that it's not happening. I'm wearing my boss hat today because honestly, my hair is in a crazy state right now because it's growing out of like the mohawk that I had it in. So you'll be seeing me with hats on a lot until I get my hair braided again. But we are out here doing work. There's so many of us going on retreats and working through shit and coming into our own authenticity. It is not happening at a rate that some of us would prefer, right? But this is, and I've said this before, if you haven't caught my live streams before, this is a long game. This is a long game of humanity, right? We're so instantaneous, we're so microwave. We want everybody to heal now. It's a real slow roll. So if you're looking at certain things that melanated people are going through, especially of the African diaspora, especially African descendants of human trafficking, living in the United States, and you're thinking, I want this to, I want things to get fixed. Well, first of all, we don't even know what fixed looks like. Let's be clear on that. We all have our ideas, but we don't know what fixed actually looks like. And the collective doesn't get fixed unless I don't even like the word fixed. The collective doesn't heal unless the individual heals. So it's not like we're gonna wake up one morning, all 13% of us that live here or whatever have you, and gonna be like, we're no. It means I do my work and raise my children a certain way. It means if you're watching this thing, you're probably doing your own spiritual work and, raise your children that way or introduce this to your nieces and nephews and cousins and siblings and all of that. And we spread it that way. So it's going to take time. This is not instantaneous. This is not overnight. And there are going to be some people that it doesn't matter what you introduce them to. They're going to stay absolutely stuck where they are. And you have to accept that that's their journey. You have to accept that they are going to staunchly, and for some of us, this is really hard, especially if you were involved in the church specifically. Actually, it's really funny. Last night I had a dream. So can't believe I'm about to tell you all my dream. Well, part of my dreams. So Kevin Powell he's a writer. He's written a couple of books. He's done some really great things. He was a writing teacher of mine when I was at NYU. And this is before he was on the Real World. And it's I remember us all, like the girls in the class, like we all had like a crush on him. We were like 18. I think at the time he's like 22, 23, and he's coming and teaching us all this stuff. Anywho, so I dreamt about him last night, not in that way, but we were having a conversation and he was asking me about my experience being in the Nation of Islam, which I found interesting. And he was like, "Oh, how long were you in the nation?" I was like, "From like 6 to like, 15, And he's like, "Oh, wow." But I say all that, I don't know why I say all that to say that in even being in like the Nation of Islam, there were some other little pieces that were incorporated, right? Like there was numerology and astrology and other esoteric teachings. And so it wasn't too far off from some of the stuff that I do now. For people who are in the church, staunchly like will not ever let go of the idea that Jesus is their Lord and Savior, leave him be. Leave him be. It's not your fight, and you're not here to save them. You're not here to save them. But being in that room last night, which was my original thought, being in that room last night on Clubhouse and hearing the men speak, and granted, there's usually more men than women, but there are other societal things that come into play with that, and in terms of what society has told men they're allowed to do or allowed to feel, and men working through for themselves what it means to be a man versus maybe some messages that were given to them. And so they're working on that, just like many of us are working on what it means to be a woman. And men aren't always outward. Like women, we're like, "Girl, let me tell you what happened. I used a Sione egg." Men aren't gonna be like, "Yo, bro, look, I tried to semen retention last night." Generally, they're not gonna do that, right? So it looks different. And I just want to say that because I want y'all to know that men are doing the work. They're just not shouting it out the same way that women are. But being in this room, again, hearing different people's stories and hearing us share and hearing us speak about sacred sexuality and boundaries, it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. And I really wanted to share it with you all, if for no other reason than to encourage you. If you think you're the only one, if you think there's no one else out here, if you think there aren't enough people out here, like people always like, "Where are the men who are doing the work?" They're here. They're here. I think the men see the women doing the work a lot, but lots of memes about women who wear waist beads. I do. And yoni eggs. I have them in ankle bracelets. I've got those too. And incense and all of that, because we're out here doing it. But the men are too. And if you're having difficulty finding men or women who are on your journey, I strongly suggest you begin saving your coins and heading to retreats that cater to, even if not specifically for, but cater to melanated people. And there are a few, so I will list some in case some of you might not know. So obviously I'm going to say Black Tantra Group first because I'm one of the co-founders. We have a group on Facebook. We are currently now teaching classes in that group. You must answer the 3 questions to be let into the group. If you do not, I will not let you in. I am one of the obviously I'm one of the admins, but I monitor the people that we let in, as does one of our other members. That's really what we work on. And if you do not answer the 3 questions, you will not be let into the group. So Black Tantra Group hosts retreats specifically geared toward melanated men and women. So that's one. And we will have a retreat coming up in 2022, fingers crossed, now that folks are doing some different things. The Art of Sacred Sexuality retreat, which is the first retreat I ever taught at. That's hosted by Brian and Karen Craig. And They have a group here on Facebook too, The Art of Sacred Sexuality. They also hosted retreats and have taken a pause for the cause for the same reason we all have. They host retreats as well. It's where I've met a lot of my community that I'm still in touch with, is teaching at that very first retreat that they did, and then subsequently going to other retreats and branching off to others. Jay English, Jay, English, like the language. He hosts sacred sexuality retreats. Apparently he's got some coming up in LA, New York, Houston, I think, or something like that this year. So he hosts retreats as well. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that I know. Manifest Ra. He has a group here on Facebook called The Sage Men. It's for men. They do a lot of breath work and meditation work with men. And I will, because I didn't plan this in advance, see about going back in and editing this and adding this information either as a comment or as part of the post. So he does those activities. And if you're watching this and you're like, you didn't mention me, it's clearly because I forgot. Like if I know you and you know I know you and I know you do things, trust me, it's really because I forgot. I'm just remembering the people who I've either just spoken with or are off the top of my head. So these are events, spaces, places where you will find men and women who are on the same journeys. If you're out here like where they at, those are places you can find them. But you have to invest in being in those places so that you can meet these people. But I really wanted to come out here this morning and give some encouragement to let you know that we're out here. It's not just something you see on Facebook. It's not just something you see on Instagram, and really, nor should it be. If you only see someone posting their stuff on Facebook or Instagram and you don't know them in real life, they could just really be posting how they hope to feel, but in real life, they're still, they're not there yet. Or you could know someone who's really taking time to get their meditation practices in and really taking time to work on their communication skills and uncover those icky parts of themselves. And they never post about it on social media because they just don't feel that it's a journey that they need to share. So please don't go based on what you see here. And what happens sometimes is if people aren't posting their journey and there's a void, right? Because energy, y'all have to understand, energy has to be put somewhere. Then you might find a vacuum and then all you see is like negativity, right? And then you think, oh, that's what it is, because that's what you're seeing, only because there's a vacuum, because the people who are healing aren't posting. And I would suggest that if that's what you're seeing, if you don't want to unfriend, unfollow. You don't have to see everyone's posts. Unfollow people whose posts are not in alignment with where you're looking to be or where you're looking to send your mindset, and begin to follow people or I don't want to say get notifications, because I don't think everyone should be spending a lot of their time on here. But follow people who, when you open up your app or your desktop, there's certain things that you see. If that's what you need to help you along your way. So you ain't got to unfriend nobody. I get it. We don't have to make these drastic measures. You don't have to do that. Just unfollow them. Same thing on Instagram. You can mute them. You don't got to see it. And that way you keep your field clear. And that helps shift things too. All right, so that's it for this morning. Just wanted to come on and say that it was a great room last night. I will be hosting more rooms on there. I could not host my Monday room because I've got too much going on, and doing it alone was a heavy, just a heavy lift for me. But I will be co-moderating some upcoming rooms on sacred sexuality and tantra with a couple of other folks. So that is in the works. If you're looking for me, obviously you can DM me. My DMs are open. And if you're interested in the Sensual Energy Coven, for women, send me a DM and let's have a chat and see about, if the coven is good for you, right? I love you all. Happy hump day. And I'll see you next time. Bye.